Good morning. Look, we got sunshine today. Wasn't expecting sunshine, so maybe we'll get to combine some beans this afternoon. It's pretty wet right now. It'll take some drying. It'll be late this afternoon, but maybe. We might also get some spreading done, do some ripping, maybe. We'll see. We never ended up with a lot of rain. We've had about 3/10 or just over 3/10 total since Sunday, so it's not wet by any means. It'll dry off on top pretty quickly here, so. Dad's bringing it back over to the shop because we got a engine fault code coming up about some crankcase vent filter. There's a filter on there. I think it's plugged and we need to change it. So we're going to bring it to the shop here so we can get it taken apart and look at it and get one coming. So there is a filter that goes in there. It's the crankcase vent filter. That's what it's telling us is plugged. So we got it apart, took the old one out. It is dirty. I ordered one. The John Deere dealer will drop it off. It'll be here right after lunch in our little parts shed. So Dad and I are going up to the irrigation field to work on some stuff. So we got to get our meter socket that we got from the power company wired into our panel. And since we're all done irrigating, generator's gone and everything, we're gonna do that. So we got some conduit. We're actually going to go down underground and back up because we got to go in this hole, and this is where, or we're coming out this hole. We're going in there from where the pole will be. So we'll have to bury underground to get to that, and just it's coming around this way. It was going to cross and not work very well, so we're going to go down. So Dad's working on that. I got our base station powered up with our little Milwaukee thing so that we can run the machine out of the field and it'll have its GPS fix. I took that cap off there and we have back pressure. It's coming from the machine down there. Let's see how much water we get. There might be a bunch of water comes out of there. So there's a check valve right here. So this part of the pipe is empty. Not going to be that much, but there's still water from here out through the machine, and we've got to get it out to winterize so it doesn't freeze, break stuff. I am still trying to figure out the best way to do this. The machine down there, we could disconnect at the far end, the machine from the end of the pipe, and then just let it walk itself out to its farthest path so it gets all the hose off, and then wind it back up, and all the water should come out. But I'm worried about the elevation because our riser, the end of the hose, is sitting in a high spot. And if we go all the way out and we're down along the river in a low spot, is it really going to get all the water out of the pipe, or are we going to be too much elevation change? So our other option is to use an air compressor and hook it up to the end of that pipe and blow the water through the machine, which we can do. We need to hook an air compressor up here and blow the water out of this line. So maybe we can just leave them hooked up together, or we just hook up right here. We'll have to get the fittings, to hook that up to an air compressor, and we just start blowing air through it until we get air out the end of the machine. That might be our best bet. Anyway, Dad forgot some fittings back at the farm, so he's going to get those. And we got to get we're going to get this conduit in place. While we're waiting for Dad, we'll go for a little walk here. We'll take a look at our corn at some point out here, and I want to walk out to the machine and just see what everything looks like. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been up here, and we've had it shut off for close to 2 weeks now. Something like that. And just take a look at stuff. Consistency. Every single plant's got a really nice ear on it, and there are lots of plants all the way down. Looks good. I thought this plant didn't have an ear, and then I looked, it just flopped down there, so that one was a little lower placement, but they're all there. Really deep kernel set. You can see our black layer there fully developed at this point. This corn is absolutely mature and done. I have no idea where we're at moisture wise. It doesn't feel super dry, so it's going to be a little while before we get up here to harvest yet, but this is going to be good corn. It's going to be fun. Yeah. Well, the machine's sitting here just fine. We're missing a drop. This is a new one though. It didn't break. It pulled the glue joint away. That's amazing. So this one is still there, but we actually pulled the black plastic out of the glue joint on that one. So I've been told that they've got a little bit of a redesign on these center drop nozzles for next year. We're going to kind of extend them back away and put some side-to-side bracing on, but allow them to flex more front to back, and it should solve our issues. So we're no need to be in a hurry to get that stuff installed. But we'll do it later this fall or even next spring before we get started. But sounds like we've got that problem addressed for next year, so that is good. We'll let them take care of it. But yeah, we do need to get this machine out of the field. I have been told, actually we're gonna go ahead and hit the disconnects on the battery because it's been starting up and running 2 or 3 times a day just to keep the battery charged, and we don't really need it to do that. But I've been told that we can disconnect it here from this hose and kind of suck this in a little bit, and then I hit the right button on the keypad over here and it will automatically and then I can hit start and it will walk itself out of the field without laying hose down, if that makes sense, where it'll follow the existing paths and stuff, and we can make it come right out up there by our well where we want it to store, because I can't manually drive it out of the field good enough to not run over the corn. But it can do it, so we'll just let it. I think I'm going to leave it here until we can get an air compressor and blow all those lines out. We are getting way more sunshine than I thought we were going to get today. This is great. I think we'll be able to combine this afternoon, so all right. Brock got our loader put on our 7520. I'll take it that means he figured out how to do it. I don't know if he's ever done that before, so I was just going to check to see if he needed help, but he got it. So I think we can go spread some lime, so we're going to go and do that. All right, so Brock's going to bring the tractor up to the field where we're spreading lime. We got one down the road. There's a pile of lime there specifically for this. Like we had him dump the whole load there. It should be enough to do that field. But he's going to take the tester kit there, the pan test kit. I'll show you that. I haven't shown you that yet. Well, yeah, I did. Anyway, he's going to take that up to the field with the tractor. I'm going to grab the spreader, and we're going to go up there, and we're going to repan test everything, just because I feel like we've gotten our rates a lot closer now. Or at least we're dumping a lot more volume on because we opened the gate up, and I'm going to open it up a little bit more here, and so it's going to change the spread pattern a little bit, and I want to make sure that we're still doing it right. So this is our field we've got to do. We've got a pile of lime. We're going to load up the spreader a little bit. There's a little bit in there yet, but I want a little bit more. And we brought our pan test kit, so we'll use that here in a minute. I don't need to fill it full right now, but I want to put enough on there that we can run this test, and I need to spread just a little bit to get everything dialed in before we do that. All right, so we loaded up our spreader. Oh, it's not even close to full. Okay, we got lots of room yet. Anyway, here's our field, here's our zones. I don't like that the node rate is black because you can't see it. But we've got a green zone, and a red zone. That's just 2 different rates. Looks like, no, I don't know what the middle one is. The max zone is 2,400 though, so that'd be 1.2 tons. Okay, so we've got that set. I need to go into the product setup here. I changed my gate opening from 7 to 10. So we're going to accept that, so that'll change its calculations a little bit. We're still doing a 60-foot spread width. Got my spinner set at 650. We're going to go make a round somewhere, or perimeter of the field, maybe we'll do that. And then we'll set our pans out and we'll do a pan test. And we'll see where we're at. So should be fairly close. I probably should do another bulk density test. It's the same stuff we were putting on before, but I'm curious, so we're gonna go do that first. So inside of our big fancy kit here, we've got all our pans and screens for doing the catch test. We've got a tape measure for measuring. We've got the tubes for comparing, and then we have our scale. So this is essentially it's a test weight scale. but this one's for fertilizer and bulk density. So we fill that thing up, and then we use the slide to make it balance. Okay, so we've got that full. Brock's gonna hold it from the ring, and then we move this until the little bubble is level. Trying to get all the stuff off the sides so it's... Oh yeah, it's a good thing we did this. Okay, that's too much. That's close. We're gonna call it that. So then, pounds per cubic foot, we're at 68. We had 80 in there before, so I'm glad we did that. Okay, so 68 pounds per cubic foot. Oh boy, we got dust clouds. Okay, so we're putting on 2,400 pounds to the acre. All seems to be working fine. We just need to test it. So we're gonna perimeter this a little bit here, and then when we make our trip back up where our pans are, we'll set them out. This is a field where Dad had been doing some cleaning up on some edges. We got a rate change right here. Went from 2,400 to 2,200, so not a huge rate change, but a little bit. Should slow the belt down, or it did slow the belt down a little bit. I'm gonna run out of product before we make it around the dang field. This is gonna use so much. It's all right, it'll be fine. We perimetered the field. Let's get our pans set up out here. So we need to measure out where they go and set them up, and I want them right down the center of the tractor. We're on an auto steer line, so hopefully we can eyeball that from here close enough. We'll just make full passes and we'll see what we get. Okay, so we got a pan every 10 feet. 7 pans to cover 60 feet. If the math works, trust me, it does. That should be enough. It's lime. If it was fertilizer, we might put them a little closer together, put more of them out there, but it's lime. We should be fine. All right, so we're going to spread this way. I'm going to drive back around. We're going to spread that way again. That way we catch both sides of the spreader, and then we'll come back and make sure that they're all relatively even. Okay, we're making our second pass for our pan test. I already spread the one over there. We're going the same direction. We're going to make this one, and after I get this done, then we'll get out and compare. See where we're at. See if we need to make any more adjustments. It doesn't look bad, but it's hard to tell from the tractor seat a little bit. The dust gets really wide. Generally, the heavy particles are going to fly farther than the light particles, so I don't know. You can definitely see that we're turning it a little gray, putting a lot of product out, so it all looks like we got a good spread. Let's see what our pans look like. I'm guessing we may be throwing too much to the outside, but I don't know. It's nice and even in the pan. The question is, do we have the same amount in each? We're about to find out. Okay, so this would be the middle of the spreader, and it's not bad. We've got a little more here and here, and then this is the one right in the middle of the two passes, kind of the outside where it drops off a little bit. We still got a lot of fines there, but you can see we got more heavier stuff too. And then we go back to the sides where we've got more. We've got a lot, and then it drops off a little bit. So I think I'm going to increase spinner speed from 650 to say 750, which should help us throw some of this stuff out to here, and then we'll adjust our slide gate. No, we probably won't adjust our slide gate right now. One thing at a time. So we're gonna speed up the spinners just to try and throw a little bit more into the middle outside between the two passes, if that makes sense, because we're getting enough product you know, we've got plenty here. We just need to get a little bit of that to move a little bit farther. And maybe we need to narrow up our width. Instead of going 60, we go 50 feet or something, which we'll do if we have to, but we'll try and speed up the spinners first. Oh, that looks better. So this is a middle. It's very close to that, which is very close to that one's maybe a little less. Not bad. There's a little more of that one, maybe about the same as the first ones. Those two are just a little high. They're really not bad though, and it's, you know, kind of a balance one side or the other, where it could have been something just the way it came off the belt, or the spinner speeding up and slowing down. We're gonna call that good enough. It's lime. We're spreading crushed up rocks. This does not have to be perfect. When we get to fertilizer, we'll be a little more accurate, but our rates are a lot lower and we can dial it in a lot better. So I think we're good. We're gonna finish spreading this field. Brock, you can get all this stuff put away in that tote and tote it back up there, and I'll finish spreading what's in there, and we'll load the rest of that lime pile up, and then you can go. Cool. All right, good deal. Our sideboard's definitely making it a little taller, a little harder to see in there, but we got a really nice window, and I can see through that pretty good. And see what we got back there, so that's good. We might still think about a camera on here, and somebody mentioned a camera on the spinners, or looking at the spinners, which I think is a pretty good idea too, so we'll see. I'm doing my best to get this pile cleaned up here. Getting a little more wheat stubble and dirt than I would like, but it should flow through that spreader just fine. So we'll see if we can get one more little scoop out of here and we'll spread it out. Alright, Brock can take our test kit back to the shop. Never mind that. Don't worry about what happened to that one. It'll be fine. Thanks, Brock. Going to lunch? Okay. It's 12:30, so I'm gonna spread this out and I'll be back. Yeah, we definitely got some wheat stubble in there. It's okay. Good load too. According to the scale on our monitor here, we had, I think it was about 24,000 pounds. And this spreader is rated at 14 tons, so that would be 28,000 pounds. So not quite to capacity, but nonetheless, a nice size. Yeah, whatever. We're out of lime, or here, so we just put it all in there. And we shouldn't need quite all of this to finish the field. Should have like a ton or two left, hopefully. I think. Well, of course we brought a little bit, so we'll say 2 to 3 ton. Good news, our scale and our rated controller seem to be fairly close as to how much we have left. So, you can see we're at 11,700 there, 11,900. I mean, we're off by 300 pounds. That's pretty close. So, I think that bulk density number is the one that we can kind of edit. If we spread a whole load off and they don't match, if we change that number, it should make them match a little bit. That or the CFR, the cubic feet per revolution. But the bulk density one seems like that would be an easier one. They're changing those, either one of them will do the same thing. It's all in the math that the rate controller is doing, and it's how fast that belt needs to turn to get the right pounds of product off. It's converting density from volume into pounds, and so either you change how much it thinks it's putting off in cubic feet, or you change how dense the product is that it's putting off, and it's going to do the same calculation. Anyway, we're about done here, and we're going to have a little bit left, and we're right on. This is awesome. We're getting this thing dialed in perfect. Done with that one. We did 22 acres. We got 4,500 pounds, maybe 5,000 left in the spreader. That's 2.5 ton. That's what we were supposed to have. We did have a little more overlap. The last pass was a partial, maybe like a quarter of a pass that needed spread, and because you're all or nothing, we overspread, 40 feet to get the 20 feet that we needed to do, so we used a little extra product up in that pass. But other than that, all good. The chicken litter guys came this morning and spread our chicken litter here in these 2 fields that are bean stubble, so time to get the ripper out. I think Dad's gonna do that this afternoon. Maybe Brock if we don't go combine. I don't know, but yeah, the pile is gone and you can smell it. So we need to get that worked in quickly. We're gonna go check a bean field and see if it looks like we might be able to harvest today or not. It's starting to cloud up a little bit more, so I don't know. This is where we intend to go. Let's see what we got. So there's two varieties in this field. The ends in this along this side here are actually 2.2s. They've been mature for a while, but most of the field is a 2.8 bean. They weren't quite ready yet until just recently. So I think they're all mature and ready to combine. It's just a matter of whether they've dried out enough from the rain yesterday or not. Let's see. First test, does the pod crack open? Kinda. It's not great, but it did. Would be combinable. Now, are the beans crunchy? I doubt it. No. Pretty smushy. That's not gonna work. It didn't crack. So they're probably, I mean, I can smash it in my fingers. They're probably 18%. Not gonna work. Not now anyway. If the sun would come back out, maybe late this afternoon, but I sort of doubt that too. So figure out something else to do. Maybe I'll go pull some more corn ears from that field that we got that's been dead for a while and see if it's dried in the last week since we pulled some a week ago. Our filter came for the backhoe. We can get that put in. I think it goes like that. Hopefully our code goes away. We can get our stop out. Brock was going to write the hours on that filter. Seems okay. Time to let the big dog eat. Our 2730 Ripper. We haven't used it yet this fall, but we did go through it a few weeks ago. Fixed a leaky cylinder, some broken pieces, got it all good, so he should be all set up. I might go down to the field and watch it run just to make sure everything is good. We've gotten a little rain since, this weekend, so maybe the ground's not quite so hard and softened up a little bit. That'll be nice. Brock is actually going to go plant some wheat. Did he get out? Yeah, it looks like it. I'm just going to take the gator. We'll go check on Brock. He's getting started planting wheat right here behind the barns. Dad's going down the road. That's good. Things are still happening even though we can't harvest. I better check this monitor too. I set up the ads for him, but when they were planting wheat the other day, they still had it set to be planting soybeans, and for 24 crop year, we need to get it to 25 and to wheat. Okay, we got him all set up. He shouldn't really need anything from me. Yeah, turn his blower on. See if he remembers. So we're planting some of that new seed wheat that we bought this year. We had 4 bags of the one variety. He put in a little bit to finish the last field, which is good because it can have a chance to compare it to the other variety that we planted there. And then I'm going to plant it out here and then put in another new variety. There's the fan. Good deal. So loud. That thing just screams. So the air seeders are a little different than a planter, where a planter uses the fan to blow the seed to the rows and then meters it out. On an air seeder, the meters are at the bottom of the tank, and then the blower blows the seed to the rows right into the ground. There's no more metering beyond the seed tank. Look, we even got dust. That's why planters are much more accurate than air seeders, and why we use them for planting beans instead of the air seeder for the most part. So, is this capable of planting beans? Yes, perfectly capable, but we don't do that very much. Just the double crops. I don't have my knife. There's our seed. Yeah, looks good. Got them covered up. Trying to go 1 inch to 1.5 inches deep with wheat. and into good moisture, which we have now, relatively. It's damp, it's not wet. We were so dry before this rain that we soaked it up really, really well. I honestly wish we would have gotten some more, because you dig down 2 or 3 inches and it's going to be really dry still. Oh, does it smell bad down here? Yeah. Alright, well, it's going to take a little while to knock the rust off of everything, it looks like. But it's going. He's got it in the ground. I don't know what his settings are at or anything like that. Oh, it ain't in the ground very far. Nope, that ain't going to work, Dad. Closing wheels aren't even touching. I feel like we need to be deeper. We'll get there. Yeah, we got some adjusting to do. So you can see where our ripper points are running. They're getting in the ground. They're not too bad. But we got to get our leveling stuff working a little better. I don't know. Ground's plenty dry still. Okay, we'll go stop him on the end there and see what we can adjust in the computer. Alright, well, I adjusted a little bit from in the cab, rode around with him there. It's doing a good job. He's got the ripper's points set to 10 inches deep, so we're pulling it plenty deep for that's how it runs for us, our heavy ground. There's no 12 to 15 inches deep. Doesn't happen. We don't have enough power for that. Closing discs, I adjusted them down some. They're still not running a lot. And that rolling basket's way up the ground. But as you go up and down the rolls, that kind of cantilevers over the tires a little bit. Sometimes it's in the ground, sometimes it's not. It's fine. See there, it's rolling. Yeah, it's fine. Dad doesn't always have a ton of patience for computers, and computers on tillage equipment especially fall into that category. So to think I was going to sit there and do a recalibration of everything and try and get it perfect, just make it work. And the rippers are doing what they need to do. The discs are in the ground, and you can adjust stuff from there. We made it so that it's working, and we're doing what we need to. Would we do a little better job leveling? Maybe, but it's not bad. So we're just going to let it go, let him run, and have fun. And sometime if I jump in there, maybe I'll do that calibration procedure. Everything. It tells you whether the calibration is good or not, plus it won't work if it's not. So it is. It's got a good calibration just from last year or whatever. And it should be fine. Maybe it needs updated, but it's fine. It's all good. Looks pretty dry. Looks like it should be ready for harvest. So this is our thin spot on the ends where we drive in and out. We'll walk out of here in the field a little ways, pull 3 or 4 ears, take them back, take a moisture test, keeping an eye on it. We're going to check some stalks while we're out here, see if anything looks like it's starting to break down. So far it looks fine, but that's something that will change harvest plans a little bit. If you got corn starting to go down, you don't wait for it to get dry, you go and get it before it goes down. But when we can, use rows curve, but when we can look down the rows and not see any broken stalks, yeah, the stalks are pretty good yet. You can do a pinch test. You can come and try and squeeze the base of the stalk and see if you can pinch it off to the point where they break. I can't do that with any of them. You can see all our ears are hanging down, nice and open. This stuff is drying. I bet this corn's drier than 25. We can also do a bend test here. Kind of bend them until they hit the row next to them. See if the stalks, well, that one did just break. That was the first one that's done that though. Standability is not a huge concern here, so we'll get to it when we get to it, but let's see how dry it is. Today would be a good day to be shelling corn, because it's too wet to do beans, but the corn would go if it was dry enough. This stuff shells much easier. It feels dry. Like much drier, like 20-ish. 19 and a half. It's time to shell corn, boys. Well, if there's any hope of shelling corn, we gotta get the dryer ready to go. Phil's been working on it and cleaning stuff, but a few things to put back together, like folding these doors up on the bottom of the fans. So I'm working on that. I assume everybody takes the covers off of their electric motor fans to wash them? No, just me? Just us? Just doing what I'm told. I think we're ready. I think we're gonna go shell some corn. Didn't see that one on the card today when I started the day. But we're gonna get the combine out, we're gonna hook up the corn head, and then we're going to go open up a field. We got to get some wet corn around, get the dryer primed. Like, it's going to take a little while, but if we could get a little bit done tonight and then do a little bit tomorrow morning before we can run beans, it's a start at least. It gets our dryer primed and ready to go, and let's just get something done. Oh yeah, it's our baby corn head. Let's go. This is good. Like I said, we're just gonna go open up a field. We're probably only gonna run 2 or 3 truckloads. It might just be Endros for all I know. We'll see. I think I got all the stuff done outside the combine that I needed to do to get it converted over to corn. I pulled the chopper knives, slowed the chopper speed, slowed the rotor speed, and moved the deflector on the before the chopper. I think that's it. So yeah, let's go. All right, so this is our target field. This is that one that we've had that's been looked dead for a long time. I tested those ears. We pulled them from kind of over that way, but they were 19.5, so we'll see what we get here. If we're under 25, I'm pretty happy with that, but like I said, we're just doing this to prime the dryer more so than anything. I'd like to get a fair bit of it done here between tonight and tomorrow morning if we can, but let's be realistic. So we've got to make sure we got everything set up right. We got to let the combine adjust speeds and everything else, and then we'll dive into this here and see how we do. Corn head looks and sounds good. What's our speed at? 2. That's where we want it. Perfect. There we go. Put the head down. Drive forward a little bit. We got a little spot where it's an old driveway. There used to be a building site here, so we use that for parking trucks and equipment and stuff. And we're just going to open up around it so we got a little more room. Okay, well, we're getting these ends on the half of the front opened up here, and yeah, end rows are no good. We have no idea where our monitor's at. It does say it's about 20% moisture, 19.8 average for the field. I will take that. If that is where we're at, that is awesome. Yield-wise, most of it's been terrible. You can see the red in the background there. Now, I don't know what the scale is, so we may need to adjust that a little bit. Yeah, we're not going to worry about that until we can get some grain cart loads and verify our scales and everything. We need to get out and check our losses. It doesn't look bad. The monitor tells me we're not throwing anything out, but we don't trust that until we verify. And we need to look at our grain sample a little bit. From the back window, it doesn't look bad, but my window's pretty dirty. It's pretty hard to see. Well, let's take a second and go look at what we got on the ground out here. Figure out if we're doing a decent job or not. I'll walk out here a ways to where the combine was running full and not just getting started in the end of a pass or something here. All right, so we were coming towards me going that way, right? So first thing we'll do is look along the corn standing over here and see what we got for kernels. And we do have some. So that's stuff that's coming out with the chopper. There's one in there. Not terrible, but more than I like to see. So we got to tighten that up a little bit. And then we'll look right here in the center and kind of see what we got on the ground. Now it's 2 kernels per square foot equals 1 bushel of loss. 1 bushel of loss in even 150 bushel corn is less than 1%. That's pretty acceptable harvest losses. So this is actually really good. We're, okay, there's a few. They're under the chaff. All right. So we are 30-inch rows. So we're 2.5 feet. Even if we go a foot, that's 2.5 square feet. That should be 5 kernels to be 1 bushel. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't have a tape measure to tell you exactly where a foot is, but I can see 6, maybe that's 7 over there. So, not terrible, but we can do better. We can do better than that. Okay, we're getting stuff dialed in. Well, this corn right here looks really good. Some of it has been not great up on the hills, the ridges, and then down in the bottom ground it is really good. So, I don't know. Like it says it's 220 there, I think 230. But again, until we get some kind of weights, facts behind this, I don't trust any of it. So, I've tightened the concave down, sped the rotor up. According to my loss monitor, most of what we're losing was coming out of the separator, out of the rotor, not all over the sieve. So we're trying to get it threshed a little bit faster through the screens and through the concaves onto the sieves, chaffer, before it goes out the back. So we're working on that. Yeah, it's going to take a little while to dial stuff in, but again, we're not doing that much here. Phil just got back with a truck. I got one more round of end rows to do after this one, and we'll see where we're at. Maybe get the back ends opened up. End rows, man, I tell you what, trees. It's mostly trees. There was a bunch of coon damage in these back ends. They brought our average down. They averaged 113 and 24, almost 25% moisture. It was wet, and it was no good. Now it will be interesting to see what this next pass going all the way up right through the center here does. That should be good corn, but it'll be more indicative of what the field's going to average than what the end rows are. It's better out in the field. It's lots better out in the field, and drier for that matter. 18, 220s. That'll get our average up in a hurry. Good. Makes me feel better. So we got the truck full, and now we're filling the cart, running our machine sink. Man, this thing is cool. So cart's getting full there, right? Well, he can't see from the cab how far back the cart goes and be able to load it, but I can see it really well from here. And these little buttons right here give me the ability to move that cart forward or backwards, or closer or farther away from me, so that we can fill it up just about perfectly right here from the combine cab without anybody having to manually adjust speed or try and communicate. We just do it, and it's awesome. I don't know if we'll get all this on there or not. We're gonna have her full if we do. So now I got the back full, so we'll start working back forward. Much better corn out in the field than the end rows. I don't know if we'll get to a 200 average, but it'll certainly be above the 150 that the end rows did. This is awesome. Black dust. That's the tar spot residue, I think. Getting all over everything. Look at our leaves out here. Yeah, I don't know if that's tar spot or not, but we got some kind of black fungus and mold growing on these leaves. That's not tar spot. That's something different. But it's turning our combine black. It's, yeah, not a great thing. It's dusty. Filling the dryer. We've got some dry corn left from last year in that bin that we're filling it, and holy cow, is it dusty. That will go away, so let's climb up here. I'll show you kind of what's happening a little bit, maybe, if I can get out of the dust. So we got these triangles, and there's corn falling down through there. But the feed roll's on the bottom, nothing's running, so it's going to start filling up. See in that bottom one? There's corn in there. We got to fill this, and we want to go about halfway, half to 2/3 with dry corn before we start putting our wet corn in on top of it. Kind of helps prime it, because if we put wet corn all the way into the bottom and just started filling with that, the corn coming out of the bottom of the dryer for the first hour or two is still going to be wet. And rather than trying to recirculate that back through the dryer, we just fill it up with dry corn and then put the wet stuff on, and we don't have to worry about recirculating it. It's very noisy. We did get 2 semi trucks basically full or harvested. So we got this one, and then we got the cart sitting there full. I'll take the other truck over and go empty that. I might take Brock with me, and we'll shell enough to fill the cart again. So then we'll have 3 loads of wet corn, and we can get everything started. I don't think we're going to start the dryer tonight. We'll probably start it up in the morning, but we can at least get it filled and everything ready to go. The other thing is here that we have, you know, 2,000 or 3,000 bushels of dry corn left in this wet bin. This is the bin that we put all of our wet corn into. It's just a little 21-foot diameter bin, holds about 10,000, 11,000 bushels. But we'll put dry corn in the bottom, and it kind of makes a cone of dry corn there so that it's like a funnel, and then we don't have wet corn sitting in the bottom of that bin, you know, because it'll mold or rot. With dry corn, will store better, and so it takes the, yeah, you understand. Instead of a cone bottom bin, we just put a cone of dry corn in the bottom of it, right? The dust cloud is moving up. The bottom 2 tiers don't have any dust. That means they're full, but we're up to that 3rd tier. There's still dust coming out, so. Yep, all good. Oh man, just looking at the receiving log from 2023 from last year, we did not start corn until October 23rd last year. We're a month ahead of schedule. That's awesome. I don't think we even started any beans. We started down to Berkey, didn't we? Yeah, 10-1. It was October 1st before we started harvest last year. Oh, we're doing all right. All right, well, we got our wet bin sucked down all the way, so all that's left in there is the cone of dry corn. The dryer is 2/3 full. We put the rest of it in the overhead bin, and now we're emptying the truck. What a deal. So wet corn going in the top of the dryer. It's not nearly as dusty. Still dusty, but not as bad. The dryer is full. It is ready to be started. We're not going to do it tonight. It's 7, almost 8 o'clock. We're not starting the dryer at 8 o'clock at night. And we got that truck empty. So the cart is still sitting down at the field full. We're just going to leave it for now. We'll go get that in the morning, get the dryer started up, shell corn for a while until hopefully we can run beans tomorrow. That would be ideal. So we'll see how everything goes. We're going to put some equipment away. There's a slight chance it might rain tonight. I don't think it will, but Brock's going to put the air seeder in. I'm going to put the spreader in, and we'll button everything up and go home. All right. It turned into a good day. It turned into a really good day. We got some lime spread, we got some ripping done, we got some wheat planted, and we shelled a little corn. Who would have thought? Yeah, it's awesome. Tomorrow should be a big one too. We got a little bit more wheat to plant, about 50-ish acres. We've got more ripping to do. We've got corn to shell, and as soon as possible, we got beans to combine. So that is the plan. So have a good night. Thanks for watching this one. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Neither Brock or I has a Border View Farm shirt on today, but if you would like to wear a Border View Farm shirt, you can head over to farmfocus.com, grab yourself one. They're on sale right now, I think through the 30th, I think. I'll have to double check that. But use the code HARVEST24 to get 24% off. Brock, go buy yourself a Border View Farm shirt.
It's a good deal.
It's a deal. That's right. Best deal of the year. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night.
Yeah.